Hey, Soul Survivors. I'm here with Yaixaira, also known as Lady Little Rock on TikTok. So I had reached out to her in response to a comment that she made on one of my TikToks or on one of my YouTubes. And she had said that she was the narcissist, LOL. So I checked out her site and she had mentioned her traumatic brain injury. So throughout these videos that I've made, we've talked about Phineas Gage, who had a steel rod that went through his brain and it changed his personality. And also, I had a friend who had a stroke and it changed who she was. She became more emotional. Phineas Gage became more angry. So, also with narcissism, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. So, Yaixaira, please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what happened.
Hi, everybody. My name is Yaixaira, also known as Lady Little Rock. Um, I'm 43 years old. I'm here living in Iowa. Currently, I have still a little one, 6 years old. Working full time, planning on returning to school as well as joining the police academy. And unfortunately, I had an accident in my bathroom.
And
Um,
when did that happen?
September 7th
September 7th.
this
Okay.
year.
And what, you had to slip and fall in the shower and hit your head?
Yes, I hit my head, hit the base of my neck. All of that became really swollen.
Was it
I
was
noticed
it
after I
closed?
woke up,
Closed?
and the what?
It was a closed head injury where your skull didn't crack?
No, it did not crack. I hit the wall of the bathtub. The neck hit, I guess, the lip of the tub, and I guess that wasn't good enough. And the curtain rod decided to finish me off by hitting me right here
What?
on my
Oh,
face.
the curtain rod. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and
So
everything
actually
went black.
closed head injuries can be worse because the pressure builds up.
Yes.
And were you in the hospital for a while or did they release you?
No, I didn't even go to the hospital. Whenever I woke up, I just was like, whoa, what was that type of thing? But then I somehow forgot that I fell
Okay.
and I went to go to sleep and woke up 8 hours later.
So
I had no strength.
what kind of personality changes have you gone through? And you'll notice she giggles a lot.
This is definitely one of them. I'm a very optimistic person, always. But definitely more giggling, more happy, which is a little bit odd. I was told it's more like a childlike effect as well as a coping mechanism.
Mhm.
Um, some people will say I'm nicer.
Oh,
Um, some people will notice I have extremely high road rage, which I didn't have before.
okay.
A lot of cursing, a lot of cursing when it comes to the road rage. Um, some moments I do have little patience. I have little patience. Um, I guess really, I don't know. I mean, you're familiar with PTSD, and they said that that's one of the things that happens automatically with someone who has a closed brain traumatic injury, that they get PTSD on high alert. So you can go from 0 to 10 in a matter of seconds. So that's part of what I have to do is learning to control these symptoms. And I mean, it's a mess. It's a journey.
Do you know what part of your brain was affected?
They don't know exactly because thank God I didn't have any swelling or bleeding.
Okay.
But definitely, aside from being on high alert all the time, there's just a lot of different things that they're discovering basically with all the different testing they're doing on me, which makes you more emotional, I mean, it triggers you in seconds. And you can go from super happy, super sad, crying, and mad, all within a matter of 3 minutes
Really?
and feel them fully for me.
So has that affected your relationship with your family?
Not really, because my family somehow or another, it's a bit dysfunctional. Um, we're at a distance even before then,
Okay. Okay.
before
So
my injury.
that's
So they know my situation. Everybody's so worried and concerned but nobody shows up. So it is
Now,
what it
how long have you been in your new place?
is.
Giggle, giggle.
I moved into the apartment where I got hurt at, pretty much August 1st of this year.
Oh, so this was before the injury.
This was before the injury. August 1st, I moved into the apartment.
Okay.
I just now moved into this place on Saturday. I bought a manufactured home for
Good
safety
for
reasons.
you.
And yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
so you're currently married, but you guys are discussing separating or
For five
staying
years, we've
together?
been going back and forth. I'm kind of more leaning towards the divorce, but I'm not gonna lie, for the first 16 years, we had an amazing marriage, or what it looked like to be an amazing marriage. And then the last 5 years, that's when things started looking very differently.
And was there something that triggered some major life event at that time?
I really believe it had to do with COVID.
Okay.
He had a lot of family members that passed away
Okay.
during that time, and he basically refused to get help. And he just went down, I think, a bad or sorry, instead of getting the help he needed, he just took a turn for the worse.
Is it more like depression or is he like drinking or doing other things more?
Doing other things, but more of depression, I think, and denial, and just a big bag of things going on that he doesn't want to deal with. And I can only deal with so much myself. I got
True.
to take care of myself too. For 5 years, it's difficult. It's
So
difficult.
with your brain injury, are the doctors doing any kind of care for you or any exercises or coping mechanisms?
Oh, yes. Oh my goodness, it is insane. I actually go to speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy twice a week.
Okay.
So it's about 6 hours of treatment. Plus, I have to see a psychotherapist as well, mental health counselor.
Right.
And pretty much everybody's engaged with giving me new tools, coping mechanisms, educating me on what a full-blown brain injury is, how to deal with it, how to live with it. Some days are good and bad.
Right. I can
You
imagine.
know,
I know you
yeah,
posted something. You sent me a sweet little message through TikTok. Thank you.
yeah,
But you mentioned something about going out with your twin sister that you're not related to, which I think is
yeah,
adorable. Sounds like a best friend, but you mentioned the sounds can be overwhelming and the visuals. Was
yes,
it like
yeah,
that before?
no. I
No.
mean, nobody really likes the chalk on the chalkboard, or, certain sounds like that. And yes, that was something that would bother me. People chewing with their mouth open, would get at me. But definitely, I have a lot of sensitivity to light and sound a lot more.
Okay.
So I have to wear sometimes glasses, dark glasses, and a hat if needed.
Okay.
I try first to wear it without it. Like right now, you see it's kind of dim. All my lights are pretty much dimmed a little bit,
Okay.
because it actually is very painful.
Hmm. And
Mhm.
so in dealing with your kids, is that more difficult with your kids?
Sometimes it can be. I do have a 25-year-old, a 19-year-old daughter, and I just have the little one at home now, the
Okay.
6-year-old. So he can be sometimes a bit of a handful, but he's also very, very helpful and kind.
Aw.
So, yeah, yeah.
So other than the hat and then the dark glasses or lowered lights, what kind of things are they saying you should put into practice for your emotional stability?
Well, I mean, those are just a couple of things that they have me doing. But like I have tape on my glasses. I don't
Oh,
know if you could tell on both sides. That's like to help eliminate some of the light,
yeah.
noise in
Football
the
player.
background.
Oh, the football
Yeah.
players put dark right there for the light.
Yeah. So I have them on my
Interesting.
glasses.
Was
and
that
it actually
suggested by
helps.
them?
Yeah, that was definitely recommended by them. Yeah.
Love that.
It helps with the light and hearing sensitivities. I have to do a lot of exercises for my eyes because the eyes and the brain connecting, you know.
Yeah.
So I have a big, pretty decent sized regimen on um, like there's 10 different eye exercises and brain exercises I got to do. When I try to read something, I have to cover half of the page so it's not too overwhelming for me. Um, they just You had asked something about what other coping things that they have me
When you
doing
start
with.
getting agitated or angry, do
Okay.
you ground yourself in a certain way or
Yeah, ground myself, breathing, of course. Um, yeah, the deep breaths. Wait, hold on. Um, breathing, slowing things down, taking a step back, watching my breathing, listening to my body. I am on a timer that will, like, every 15 minutes will go off.
okay.
Um, they said I could do it for anytime I do an activity. So I could like basically check myself, see how I'm doing, if I need to continue the activity or take a break. In my case, I have to take a break
Okay, so
for a lot of
you're
things,
like a 10-15 minute tolerance for doing things.
for doing things.
Now,
And it really
doing
depends on what it is.
laundry or doing the dishes, or is it
Exhausting. Part of, I guess, the brain injury is, different people have different side effects. I'm very fatigued and I get really short of breath.
is that
Having a
different than before?
Oh, I know. To be honest, even though I work in healthcare, I honestly thought fatigue was fake. Like, how can anybody really be tired like that? Because I'm a very busy person, very active person at work, outside of work. I was like,
Be
no,
there
that's
just crying wolf, like, yeah, get over it, go take a
yeah,
nap.
yeah. Everybody gets tired. Just keep it going. But now I
There's people that
really know what
struggle
fatigue
though,
is.
where they can sleep and sleep. And I kind of struggle with that. Like I've been having multiple tests to where I went through like a month ago for 3 months prior, to where I was telling them I'm gonna lose my job. Like I can't make it. And
Mhm.
yeah, I struggle with that. I'm still trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
A lot of times it can be an autoimmune thing. My cortisol is really high. And then some indicators of autoimmune, which a lot of times is from narcissistic abuse.
Yes.
It's amazing how much we rely on our brain for regulation and everything.
Yeah, you take it for granted because you don't know, and it's always going to be there,
Do you have
you know,
any short-term or long-term memory loss?
short term.
Short term?
Yeah, and what they realized is uh, when I do activities or they give me, I have wrote this down a couple times so I know. Um, uh, if it has two or more components in the sentence or whatever activity that they want me to do, I get a little lost.
Okay.
But if it's like one subject, um,
Task or
yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I can focus and do that. But the concentration is definitely an issue. Um, Comprehension a bit for a few things. I do have to say one of the good side effects is, aside from being happy and like not
it's
caring
like
as much,
I want to be happy.
not caring so much like I did before. Um, you know, um, my pain sensories got knocked around.
Oh,
So
higher or lower pain tolerance?
uh, before I had a very high pain tolerance. And what I mean is like uh, maybe something might be a 7, but I'm looking at it as a 3, basically.
Okay.
Now I'm actually pain free majority of the time.
Really?
Yes, I am pretty much pain free in
My
my
goodness.
head, my neck, my back. Only some days do I have, um, you could say like flare-ups or pains, but it doesn't last as long.
Hmm.
Before I could be put out like for a week if my backs and arms started spasming. Now, I mean, thank God. Um, I haven't, I haven't really. So that's a blessing.
So would you say overall your personality has changed, or you just have a couple little like anger issues, or are you different?
Um, no, I am very different. Um, Definitely my personality has changed. My lifestyle has completely changed. My capacity and capabilities have changed greatly. Everything has been insane. Because you got to get used to it. You can't do the things that you once did, and that's hard.
Now,
It's
what,
hard.
so do you see this as like a blessing or something to overcome? How do you view what happened to you?
I do, a little bit of both. I do believe it was a blessing, um, to a certain extent, because, like I said, I was always on the go, 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 always running around, always being involved in something, volunteer, non-volunteer, work. I mean, I was going to enroll in school and the police academy
Right,
and continue working full time, while managing my home and my children. I'm just like that. And so this put a stop to all of that.
right.
And it's like, you need to take a break. You need to slow down. You need to love yourself and focus on you right now. That's it. You don't have any more time or any more room to focus on anything, just you. So I'm like, okay.
And I
And
think God works in mysterious ways. Like maybe he was protecting you from something worse too. You never know.
correct,
But
correct. Yeah. And of course the negative is, a bit disappointing. Like I said, with like the activity, my activity level is, not being able to, I'm a book reader, I'm a nerd. I have half of these boxes are probably all books.
oh,
So, and I can't read them.
do you have the same interests?
Um, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything changed in that sense. I just know I can't continue my interest right now,
That makes sense.
because it's
So I'm
painful.
curious on that video that I did. I wish I had it off. I could look it up. Trying to think which one it was. Do you know why that you said that you were a narcissist? I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I'm not sure, and I've seen several of your videos, so it's kind of,
Oh,
because sometimes when I enjoy a video or two, I'll just go ahead and go to the profiles and start looking through them and stuff like that. I'm a
right.
creeper.
So
Um,
how'd you feel when I reached out to you?
I was actually very excited. I told everybody about it. I was like, "Oh my goodness, you just
You're
put
like,
this
no
out
way.
here." Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah. So I'm not sure which one it was.
I know I get too many comments. What is it so I'm like thinking and reading at the same time.
Oh, I know what it had to do with though. It had to do with a narcissist will always be XYZ, but that they love to hear their own voice.
Oh, there you go.
Something about that. I can't remember exactly everything right at that moment in regards to that one specific video, but I think it was that. And I was like, yeah, I do enjoy to hear my own voice at times.
Okay.
Or like in an
And
argument or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think we all do.
I'm wondering why I can't find it right away. That makes me sad.
Maybe it
Oh,
was one of the older videos.
oh, that might be why. Hold on. Yeah, because I just reached out to you a little bit ago. It should be. Dang it. Okay.
The
Yeah, I
notification.
can't. It might be because I replied to you. I don't think so, but yeah, I'm not finding it. But so you had said that you were the narcissist, and then I think you said
Mhm.
LOL or something like that. What made you say that?
Because sometimes when you hear these things, about, certain narcissist traits, like hearing your own voice, or maybe sometimes you come off a little bit too confident, or like a know-it-all or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, sometimes I can get like that. So I must be the narc.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I know
then,
we all have, and you even said it in one of your videos where we all have narcissistic tendencies. And it
yeah,
can be confusing. Like, I lost my cool that one time. Am I a narcissist? Um,
yes, exactly. Am I the abuser? Am
right,
I the abuser for fighting back? And it's like, no, you're fighting back. That doesn't make you the abuser. You're
right.
just fighting back.
Yeah,
So,
we're being triggered, but some advice for my viewers is try not to interact with the reactive abuse, because then it can make you narcissistic too. And people are watching. I know a lot of people either want revenge or they're like, well, he pissed me off and I was just standing up for myself, but you're falling into that trap. It'll
yeah,
change who you are. So to stay
yeah.
true to yourself, and there's different ways to handle it. So when you interact with your husband now, you got the stressors of, are we gonna make or break this? Is he living with you right now?
No,
Okay,
we haven't
so
lived
how are
together
you?
since April again.
Pardon me?
We haven't lived together since April.
Since April. Okay. And have you ever not lived with him during?
Yeah, because he's moved out several times. Or
Oh,
I've had to kick him out over the past 5 years. Well, really the last 3 years. He's lived outside the house, come back in, lived outside the house, come back in. So, yeah,
okay. So it's starting to sound like it's a toxic relationship where you guys aren't working through. There's no stability.
there's no stability. I consider myself to be pretty intelligent and, very solution focused, even, with my head injured. I still have that. I maintained a lot of me.
Right.
And shit, I lost it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I lost it sometimes. My bad.
So I know you also said that you don't care as much, kind of like, fuck this, like whatever, like life's a lot more carefree.
Yeah,
And is that different for your husband where he's like, whoa, she's kind of not kowtowing?
yeah, yes, yes. It is very different from him. Like he gave me an ultimatum to come move into my home.
Say that one more time, an ultimatum for your home.
Yeah, for him coming back to live in my home that I just purchased. And I'm like, how are you giving me an ultimatum? I don't even understand that. And I'm like, do you even think that's a good idea? He's like, probably not. And I'm like,
Ultimatums
exactly.
usually don't work.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. That's too much attempt of trying to control. And right now I feel like I don't care a lot about a lot of things in regards to, hey, you don't like me? That's fine. Don't like me. I'm not gonna read too much in it. I don't have the brain capacity right now to be overthinking and drowning, ruminating. I don't.
Do they
I
like my
don't. I
hair?
think
Do they
about
like
it
my
and I'm done.
makeup? Yeah, all
Yep.
that. It's like,
Let it go. I'm just in the let it go phase. Oh, okay, you want to do that? Okay,
yeah.
fine. Go ahead and do it if that makes you happy. I don't care.
What were you like before though? Were you very rigid and
Oh, yeah, a little bit rigid, a little bit maybe, I guess you could say a little bit controlling,
okay.
like a bit demanding sometimes. Um, I'm one that if it's a spade, and I'm gonna call you out on it. You know, if something I feel like you did is incorrect, I'm gonna say it as respectfully as I can, but then based on your response, now I might respond very differently.
Right? That's you're gonna be
But now
triggered.
it's like I'm not even gonna give you energy to respond.
So you said your daughter, how old was your daughter again? In her teens?
I have two daughters, 25 and 19.
Okay, so the one that said that you were a narcissist, is that the 19-year-old?
The 25-year-old. She's a
25?
narcissist. Yes, she's definitely a narcissist. Yes, for
Oh,
sure. Yeah, she's 25.
what do you think caused her to be a narcissist? Was one of you more strict and the other more lenient, or was she the golden child, or do you have any?
No, I
Sometimes
think it was the manipulation from her father with me because he wasn't my husband is not her biological father.
okay.
She was 4 years old when we got together and married and stuff. Um, but her father was very manipulative.
Oh,
Um, so I think a lot of that back and forth, feeding her a lot of stuff, and then like one of his favorite phrases, you never tell the truth. You mix a little bit of a lie with a little bit of the truth, and that's the how you do it. You don't tell that to a kid over and over.
oh, he said
Yeah.
that to her? That's how he's training her?
Yeah, yeah, my 25-year-old. And it's like, I'm teaching you to be honest regardless of anything, because all darkness comes to light eventually.
Right. Yeah.
It's better to just be honest, make amends, whatever, just tell the truth, be truthful,
Right. And
and
that
the
kind of
father
helps
is
keep
in the
us
background.
accountable and leads us into living a better life. We're like, I have to
Correct.
be honest about this. I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So just weird, just different people, their upbringing. If they continue to educate themselves or learn a little bit, read a book, you
Right.
you learn so much, and then communicating with people. So I don't know.
So I can't, you and I talked before. I can't remember if I brought it up during the podcast. Sorry. I think both you and I had tiring
I
days.
gave it to you.
But I had watched one of your videos or a few of them, and you start speaking Spanish, and you said you did not believe that was due to the injury, that you kind of do that. You kind of mix English and Spanish. My students do that too.
Yeah.
But you said that you had a harder time remembering more Spanish?
Yes.
And
I have it in English too.
did you grow up as a Spanish speaker, or was it always
Oh,
mixed?
yeah. No, always mixed, Spanish speaking. You could say technically Spanish is my second language, even though
Oh,
I grew up around it and I spoke it, but
okay.
not as fluently until I
That makes
became more
sense then.
bilingual.
Okay, because I was trying to see if you lost your main language more. Because
No,
I usually how you lose short-term memory and you retain the long-term memory. So the second language would make more sense. That's why I was a little
yeah.
confused on
Mm.
that.
But I do have a little bit of issues in both languages, with word finding, word searching, or sometimes mixing up some of the words. When I get real tired or more fatigued, it becomes worse. Um, but definitely in Spanish, it's a lot more.
And
Like,
when you get tired, is that more from physical activity, from visual, or from emotional? What causes your fatigue?
living, breathing,
Living. Yeah. Welcome to
breathing.
my
I
world.
mean, I could literally go to the bathroom, then go get me something to drink and walk to the living room. And it's not like it's a massive house. Um, and I'm already fatigued. Or even having a conversation, depending on how the conversation is, how heightened it is, I could just be very tired.
Interesting. And
And
did you go to the mall with your twin sister who's not related? Oh, you
no,
didn't.
no, I didn't. I
Okay.
don't have
So,
the energy for it. I told her, she called me, she's like, hey, I did get out of work late. Did you still want to go? And I was like, oh, no, no, no. I was
okay.
unpacking today. I had to do a lot of driving. I had to do a lot of driving. And it was just too much. I thought I was even gonna fall asleep, coming home because that's how exhausted I was.
Right. And I know this is one thing that a lot of people have problems with, understanding who is and who is not a narcissist, because a narcissist does that future faking. Like, of course we'll go out on a date, or of course we'll have lunch. I'm going to marry you, all these kind of things. And then it falls through. But there are times that somebody is going through depression or social anxiety or traumatic brain injuries, where it's like, I'm not trying to cancel on you. If I would, I could. So there's also a capacity component. Is the
Yeah.
person capable of doing it, or are
Mhm.
they just BSing you? So does that cause problems with friends or relatives where they're like, she's just blowing smoke. She doesn't mean it. She's not going to see us, or They're
No,
pretty
no.
understanding.
Yeah, they're pretty understanding. I let them know, or they've invited me to places, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't have the energy, or I physically and mentally just can't. And they've all been pretty understanding with me. They see it. They see it. Like they see the exhaustion, and they know who I was before and how busy I was.
Right.
So
And
it's not
and
like,
like if it was a narcissist, they'd be like, "Oh, my grandmother died," or my car exploded, or they a lot of times make up these stories where you're like, "What?"
yeah, yeah,
So that's where communication comes in, and they also know what happened. That makes a difference too.
yeah, yeah. They're understanding. Yeah.
So when you talk with your psychotherapist, do they deal more with like relationships or coping skills? What is their target focus for you?
Can you repeat? Can you hold on just a quick second? Sorry. Hey guys, go over there. Come on.
So this is Lady Little Rock from TikTok, and we're getting to know her with her traumatic brain injury. And if you guys remember though, when I was talking about Phineas Gage, he had that complete steel rod through his brain, and people were saying just how much he changed, and it affected relationships, and he turned extremely angry. So it's really interesting that Jaxida is exhibiting happiness. I like that. I like that. So what are your plans moving forward? Do you plan to go back to work or what's the
Oh,
prognosis?
I would love to go back to work. I just have well, I'm not released at all whatsoever. They telling me he's gonna do a full reevaluation end of March of next year. Um, so hopefully, with going to the therapy, continuing my exercises at home, I would be able to go to work, maybe not in that capacity, but in a different one. Who knows? I'm open.
Do you
I'm a
know
workaholic.
what what caused them to give you the diagnosis? Was there like brain scans or MRIs, or EEGs? What was the method? Was it just the change in
Well,
personality?
the change in personality, and I think the biggest tell is the eye exams they do. You follow the finger, you go
Okay.
up and down. And of course, um, what symptoms I'm telling them or what other people told me to tell them.
Okay.
Um, but when my eyes goes into spasms,
Yeah.
like involuntary movement of my eyes.
Huh.
It'll start blinking rapidly
Oh.
and very painful. I mean, it's crazy. Um,
Does
so
it
I
feel
guess
like pulled
that's
muscles in your eyes or what when it's painful?
it feels like it's a pulling and a pressure that's
Okay.
in my eyes. And it'll stop blinking whenever it feels like stop blinking.
Hmm.
So he's like, this is how I could tell you really have a brain injury. Your
Okay.
eyes and your brain has no idea where to focus to.
And
It's too much.
that's what they do with somebody who's an alcoholic or a drunk driver, that because their eyes won't focus because there's impairment going on in the brain.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, and that's why they have you follow.
Oh,
It'll be a lot more choppy.
oh, okay. But do they have the
That's not a traumatic brain
blinking?
injury. Part, not that I know of. I don't know. My degree is in
Oh,
criminal justice, so it's interesting
oh,
that you said
okay.
that you wanted to be a cop.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
their eyes, yeah, I know they have a harder time following it.
Oh, okay. No,
Uh,
I can follow it. It's just the eyes will just start going brrrr, like they just start blinking rapidly. And it's just the when he puts the light in my eyes, it
okay.
just my eyes just go into spasms.
And did they do like a little balance test with you too?
Yeah, they did balancing. My eyes closed and walking. I don't walk in a straight line. I
Okay.
walk diagonal.
You do what?
Uh, I
You-
walk diagonal.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really weird. And I'm like, wait, let's do this again. That's BS.
Let me try again.
Let me try it again. Like, what do you mean I'm walking this way? And I'm like, no, close the eyes, walk straight. And my body won't. It goes that way. It literally goes that way. And
Is it
I
always to
feel
the same side?
huh?
Is it always to the same side you go?
To the right.
To the
Yeah.
right. Are you right-handed?
Yes.
Was the brain injury right in the middle or to the side? To the left side
Um,
or the middle?
in the middle, and then the part like you know how you have like that dent in your
Right.
head. So from there, that's where I think I hit the base of the tub,
Mm.
and it went swole all the way down to like almost the start of well here, this area. Like
Oh.
all this was completely swollen.
Mm.
hmm Even my manager was like, "Oh my God," because I had my hair in a ponytail, and they're like, "Oh my God, Yaixaira," and I'm like, "What happened?"
Right. You're like, I thought I looked pretty today.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even know they sent me home from the hospital when I did go to the hospital. Um, I actually showed up to go to work.
Oh,
Yeah, and then when I got to work, I'm like, what the hell is going on? What is this computer? Like, what's happening here? Like, I couldn't function on the computer. I couldn't function. Um, I I couldn't open a chart. I just couldn't. I couldn't figure it out. I
so
was
with your
telling
nursing
myself
skills, do you remember how to measure medications or what BID means or PRN?
as needed. BID twice a day.
There you go. Okay.
Um, but it took me a minute to get it. I was like, BID, what the hell is that? And I was like, oh
Right.
no, twice a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. It, little by little, they did say it could some people, hit themselves, or injure themselves. Um, and some people can bounce back quickly. Other people, it could take months, 6 months, but normal recovery is anywhere from 2 to 5 years.
You're gonna do
So
it.
I hope I'm not like this for 2 to 5 years.
Right.
Uh, but I'm just taking it one day at a time.
Who found you? Or did you come to?
I came to,
Okay. Do you know how long you were out?
you know,
Okay.
and it was just me and my little one here. And then I was just so exhausted. I couldn't, but it's weird because I didn't even remember falling. Like I just got up, like, what the hell happened? Got
Right.
up, felt fine. And I was like, wow, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted.
Did your
And I'm
head
like,
hurt?
"Wait."
Did you have any indication? Well, you didn't even know you hit your head.
At that moment, no. At 12:30 at night, I was like getting uncomfortable. 12 o'clock, I was getting myself ready to go to bed, to go to work the next day. And my head started hurting and my neck and shoulders. And I was like, what the hell? What's going on here? And then I got like a flashback of, hey, you did fall. And I was like, wait, I thought that was like a dream,
Oh,
like some dreams, like a vivid dreams or lucid dreaming. I
right.
was like, I thought that was a dream, not that I really fell. And I was like, okay, well, let's monitor this because you felt amazing all day long, um, aka side effect. Um,
Right. You're like,
and
you're laughing all day.
yeah, exactly. I was. I really was. I'm having a good time with everyone, and then my vision did something really weird on the right eye. And as soon as it did that, I'm like, nope, gotta go to the hospital. Let's go, honey. Sorry, wake
Right.
up. We gotta go now.
I can see you party on. I hit my head.
No
The
idea what
doctor's like,
happened.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm glad you went in though.
Yeah, yeah. And then they gave me the advice, and I don't remember exactly what they said. I have the paperwork.
Right.
Um, and then, just taking everything one day at a time.
So did you do TikTok before this injury?
I did, but not like I'm doing it now.
Okay.
I'm doing it more now. I've gone on live. I'm recording my journey because, like I want to share my story so I could look back on it, but maybe I can help somebody else.
Yeah.
that are going through it, or have family members that, like people tell me, "Oh, Decided, you look great. You look fine. Everything is okay with you." And it's very offensive
Yeah, because
because
if
it's
I
like,
saw you just walking at the mall, I'm like, oh, she's fine.
yeah, yeah. It's until, we get into in-depth things, or, I got to do certain activities. It's
Right,
just not the same. I mean, I don't think the insurance would pay for somebody to see the doctor 7 times a week if everything was okay.
right. That is a lot of doctor visits. Does that frustrate you, or are you
Yeah.
motivated to go to them?
I'm motivated to go to them because, I know this is part of my healing process. This is my journey. And, unfortunately, it's detrimental sometimes because they seem to like find new things, which
Oh,
is very frustrating. Um, and it's like, damn, I thought I was doing really well. And then you guys do this other, not exam, but like testing, or hey, let's try this today in therapy. Let's try this. And it's like, I vomit.
right. Like, dang it.
And it's like, okay. And then emotional gets triggered. They trigger the hell out of me. They trigger me because they
Right.
want to make sure I can come back down.
Do they purposely trigger you to see how you cope with it?
Yeah. Yeah. They
I'll
want
tell
me
you what,
to.
if you go in the police academy, they're going to trigger you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, that for sure is out of the picture for right now.
Right.
Probably for the next few years, maybe.
Could you
Uh,
imagine the sergeant like trying to train you and he's like all in your face and you're like,
I'm like, you better back up, dude.
right.
You're threatening me right now. And or
Right.
I might end up in my freeze mode.
Right.
Freeze or flight or fight, any of them can be triggered. It's pretty interesting,
Do you
you
have
know.
any fears, such as taking a shower or being home alone, or do you have any fears because of the accident?
I think the shower is a little bit. That's why I had to urgently move from that place.
Oh,
Because for one, it was in the bathroom that I had the accident. And then two, I'm on the third floor.
okay.
So going up and down 3 flights of floors in my situation with my eyes and the brain, and it's just,
Balance.
it gives me anxiety just going up and down it sometimes. So it's like, no, I have to get out of there, move into a safer place.
Yeah.
This is safe. This is all one floor, no stairs, just a little maybe nub,
Right.
if you could so call it, and that's it. So
Well, tell me real quick before we go. Tell me a little bit about your channel is dealing with your journey. Anything else?
challenges. I think the biggest thing as well is comparing yourself to who you were before that accident.
Oh,
And that is very hard. That is very hard because you know how you would work, how you talk, how you manage, how you do things. And after the incident, all of that changed.
does that cause depression for you, or are you okay with that?
No, it's depressing. Ignore the smile. It is depressing. It is heartbreaking. It can put me in an emotional thing, but it only lasts for a couple minutes. So that's the good thing.
Okay.
Um, I think the worst part is, when you hear people tell you, the therapists and, all the therapy people I'm going to, not to have expectations of going back to who I was before the accident.
Okay.
That's like almost a stab in the chest,
You
because
got to
I want to
rebuild. You
feel
got to
happier.
rediscover.
You got to rebuild. You got to figure out how to do things differently, how to just, manage the new day to day. And it's hard because your old self is there.
Do you have any different desires? Like right now, you were in the medical field, wanted to be a cop. Right now, are you like more drawn to, I don't know, astronomy or something different, or have like your hopes and dreams stayed about the same?
I think pretty much they stood about the same. I think maybe I'm more interested in more in sexuality a little bit.
Okay.
But
Like
I
as far
always,
as being intimate with someone or the What do you
Adventurous,
say
being
that
more
again?
open, being more adventurous in
Okay.
that area. But I think that's always been a little bit of me.
Well,
But
you
now
have,
I feel more free and comfortable expressing it.
okay.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I have a lot of positive things from the injury as well as some negative,
Right. Just
but
remember to control those impulses, make sure it's right.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, Lady Little Rock, Jack, I really enjoyed having this podcast. I'd like to meet up with you again further on down your journey and see where you're at.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And I really appreciate this. I'm so excited and I'm honored that you asked me, invited me to do this. I really appreciate it, Miss Soul Survivor.
Well, very, very interesting talking to you. I wish you the best and keep smiling, and you got this. Just
Thank
keep
you so
chugging
much.
along. All right. Take
Yes,
care.
thank
Thanks so
you.
much. Have a good
Okay.
night. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.